Welcome to a special episode of the On a Family Based podcast. My name is Jake, and here I have with me is Dan. I want you to say hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Very good. I think you and Ben had the same remark, so kind of fitting. So again, we had episodes like this with Dallas and then Ben, and Dan will be the final one of this. And we're just having some time to talk about some stories about baseball growing up. So when we start off with that first question, I asked those two. What is one childhood memory you have of playing baseball together growing up?
I don't know. I don't know so much if I have one particular memory of like one particular incident.
What's the first one that
but
pops
everything
in
when
your
I
head?
think of when I think of us growing up, I envision the big main two different parks that we would go to. The one over off of 175th and Governors, and then the one that was behind the house that we lived on over on Marshfield by Willow School.
Yeah.
And now both of them had what was more memorable to me was both of them had tree lines that was what we used as outfield fence lines. Like if you could hit a ball that went into the tree line or into the tree period, it was either a ground rule double or if you got it into the air, if you made it through the trees in the air, it was a home run, like it cleared, like it went over the fence.
Yeah.
So like that's more what I remember is like playing baseball. We had those 2-on-2 games. We had home run derbies. We'd invite our other family friends, the Sneddons, and your brother Dallas had the one friend that lived over there too, like Shane Baker.
Yeah.
And just getting as many as we could. There were some days we had 4 people playing. It was just 4 of us. And there were days where we had what seemed to be like 15 people out there playing baseball, and we had 6-on-6 games, 7-on-7 games, and we were, out there for 3-4 hours playing baseball.
Yeah.
So that's what I remember, honestly, a lot of our childhood. That and honestly, and then the other thing was the wiffle ball games we play in the backyard,
Yeah.
where we would, it was always me and you versus me and you versus Ben and Dallas. And the wiffle ball games we'd play in the backyard, where we would do little home run derbies again. We would do home run derbies, or we would do 2-on-2 where you could peg each other to record an out.
Yes.
Pitcher's hand out. So at that point, it became a free for all. And then if somebody got hit too hard, they got pissed off.
Oh yeah, that happened a lot.
So that's what I remember a lot of playing baseball with the 4 of us growing up.
Yeah, it was just about the wiffle ball. It was for me. I've always had some issues with anger a little bit, and being able to peg people with a wiffle ball or tennis ball or whatever was a very good release for a little kid to throw at your older cousins or brother if you're mad at them. So yeah, definitely,
Oh,
that's what I remember.
100%. And as much as you denied it, you aimed for the head.
Oh yeah.
And it would, if you actually got somebody in the head, it was always, oh, sorry, I wasn't aiming. I just threw it. You
Right.
aimed for the head.
Yeah. Yeah,
Smallest part of the
definitely.
body, but it would inflict the most pain. That's what I remember was. So that's what like I resort back to as my memories of growing up playing baseball.
Yeah. And speaking of just memories during childhood of baseball, so again, I'm a Cubs fan. You're a White Sox fan in the city of Chicago. What is one memory that you have of the White Sox growing up as a kid?
Um, for me, it was obviously in 2005. That was the pinnacle of everything. Like being a Sox fan, like that was it. And the fact that I got to watch them do it with my dad, who was still alive at the time, and I got to watch them do it before the Cubs won. Like was,
Horrible.
you know, the best thing in the world. So there's that. And then just honestly being able to look back at all the Sox, like the changes. Like I didn't get to go to Old Comiskey. I was at Old Comiskey as a child, but I
Hmm.
don't recall being there because I was such a small child when I was with my parents, my father. But going to, you know, Comiskey, and then when it got named U.S. Cellular, and now Guaranteed Rate, going to the Sox games, seeing the history of players coming through there, and it's just everything about the White Sox growing up is what is all memories. Like I actually watched Mark Burley's perfect game on TV.
What?
Uh, and like I just happened to be home and watched the entire all 27 outs recorded.
Hmm.
Uh, and I remember getting real close to the end and running into the room and telling my dad, you know, I'm not going to tell you, but Burley's about to make history or whatever, and like wouldn't say the words out loud,
Yeah,
because
of
somehow
course.
me saying it out loud would jinx him.
Yeah.
Uh, so just everything about the Sox, everything about watching baseball on TV, from listening to Ken, who everyone hates, but I love Hawk.
Hmm.
He's what made baseball fun, watching it on TV and stuff. And then, like Ed Farmer, guys like Ed Farmer on the radio, just everything about the White Sox, man, has made me is what is giving me my passion for this game.
Yeah. You know, as you were growing up, who is one Sox player that you remember clearly as a kid? Maybe as a motivational or just you enjoyed watching? Who's that one Sox player you
So,
remember?
like for me, my favorite players growing up were kind of like odd guys. Because of growing up as a catcher, I my favorite player, one of my favorite player was Ron Karkovice, Officer Karkovice. You know, he had the coolest nickname for me, Officer. He was a catcher. I grew up as my dad turned me into a catcher early on. Um, and then my honest to god favorite White Sox player of all time is Ron Kittle. He had the
Hmm.
nickname of Kitty Kitty. So he was. I didn't catch a lot of him really till I was aware of baseball till the little end of his career. But then going back and watching stuff like highlights of old Sox games and watching old stuff, I was just drawn to him. He had the glasses and
Yeah.
like it's like old school, like big glasses like my dad used to wear. Um, but yeah, so my favorite player was Ron Kittle, and then obviously Ron Karkovice itself. But yeah, those are my two like most iconic players I remember. But I mean, obviously everyone loves Frank Thomas. He was like
Yeah.
the epitome of the White Sox. Then I grew up of what like watching him play, like he was the best the Sox had.
Yeah.
Um, I could sit here and name guys like every guys as
Yeah.
guys I loved watching. I love watching Megala Rodonias. I love watching, when the Sox had Carlos Lee. Uh, I used to love Jose Valentin in the way and how hard he played, and he could play, pretty much any position he played for the
Yeah.
Sox. Um, Burley was one of the best pitchers I used to love watching. I used to love watching Keith Falk and Bob Howery come out of the bullpen to close games out. So, stuff, guys like that's who I really was drawn to.
Yeah. So those are other players, if you will, or just again, as we said, childhood memories. But who's maybe that one current player? If you had to pick one current player on the roster that you just enjoy watching, who's that one current White Sox player?
Yo yo, Yohan
I'm not
Makata.
fit. Oh
Yohan
yeah,
Makata. He's
why
got.
him?
I just loved. He's got such a personality. You can tell a love for the game. The dude is always smiling. He seems like he's always having fun. He legitimately enjoys playing baseball, which is honestly, that's like me. If I could do anything in this world, it would have been, uh, in some way a part of baseball.
Yeah.
Obviously, I would have loved to have been a player. If I couldn't have done that, I would have wanted to have been a coach, trainer, something in the game of baseball is what I would have ultimately wanted. Like if we could literally pick and choose how we wanted our lives to go, something in the form of something in the realm of baseball is where I would have chosen for my life, my career, my passion to be around and for is baseball.
So
So
I'm
so like
guessing you're gonna be a coach for kids.
100%. I mean, uh we coached years ago, got your kind of kids your age
Yeah.
or a little younger than you, I think actually when we started coaching, but we coached the 13-year-olds in Homewood for a year or so there, and I love it. I love, all of it. I can't wait for my son and my daughter to get to age where they're playing regularly, and I can be a part of that. That's yeah, can't wait. I legitimately cannot wait till I can actually coach again and just be a part of it, man. But so again, back to your question is Yo-Yo is his nickname, but Yoan Moncada is 100% my favorite White Sox right now. I think the way he goes about his from obviously we don't see everything that the players do day to day, but when he's on the field, he's got a huge smile. You could tell he loves it. He's got like an amazing, what seems to be an amazing personality, and so clearly, yeah, it's my favorite player for the White Sox right now is Yoan Moncada.
Hmm. Yeah, there are so many stars on that team, or so many guys you could have gone with. For whatever reason, I just did not expect. Maybe it's because there are so many other people. Like you said earlier, you're more drawn towards players who maybe don't get the spotlight as much. And yeah, Yohan Moncada is very solid player who doesn't get a lot of fans. Why do you
Like
think that is?
he's got a following, uh, like amongst the Chicago area and like the Central as being uh a star player, but he doesn't
Yeah.
have that superstar um persona. But that's more what I like. He's kind of like the more honestly like he's kind of got that Mike Trout essence to him where his ability and everything he does speaks more than he will.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that's why he plays. The White Sox have always been the second team. They're always no matter
Un-
what. They're always no
Unless
matter what. They're always number two team in the city, and I
un-
think that
unless
also
unless you're down by me, and that's the south side of the city where all you see is White Sox stuff.
yeah.
But yeah,
Um, but I think that plays a role into why Johan is not in that superstar category. Plus, his skill level isn't as a top tier as a Jose Abreu or like a Tim Anderson on the White Sox is projecting, or even with the younger guys like Luis Robert or Robert, who's coming, who's making a big name for himself as one of the best defensive center fielders and one of the future center fielders in baseball. Johan was good. He was a top prospect when he was with Boston before the White Sox got him. Um, I've just always been a big fan of his, like I said, for the way he conducts himself on the field, the way he goes about playing. Um, so yeah,
I didn't have this question planned, so I'm sorry if I'm gonna throw you a curveball right here. But you talked about your dad, and obviously your dad, as I remember, was a big White Sox fan. And that definitely influenced all of you guys. if if you can just imagine kind of this hypothetical, who do you think, what kind of player, who do you think your dad would enjoy from this current team? What what player or players do you think he would enjoy watching?
Um, that's a good question. I don't know. So my dad's favorite player growing up was one of two people, Roberto Clemente,
Yeah.
and that's just because my dad was obviously Mexican. He was Hispanic, so he was drawn to the idea that of what Roberto Clemente stood for. Um, but like as far as White Sox goes, my dad's favorite player was Dick Allen. Now, if you don't know who Dick Allen was, he was first baseman for the White Sox. He was part of the team that wore the white and red pinstripes, and he had a jersey of Dick Allen's for a long time. So he loved Frank Thomas. Uh, so honestly, I don't know who his uh, favorite player would be. I would think it would probably be someone more like he's at the end of his career now, but I think he would definitely have been more attracted to like Albert Pujols style
Yeah.
player who's coming to the end of his career. Um, just hard nosed ball players um, is who
Yeah.
my dad really grew. Is who I feel like my father would have loved more.
Yeah,
Um,
you know, of all those players, you named a lot of first basemen. No, so
yeah, it's
Abreu might be a good option.
yeah. I think on the White Sox right now, if we had to pick White Sox players, obviously I think it would be Jose Abreu. Uh, I think he would like Tim Anderson, but I don't think he would like Tim Anderson's antics,
Hmm.
the showboating and stuff like that. He wasn't really a fan of that. He was more do your job and it's your job, do it.
Do you like it?
I do and I don't. I'll be
Hmm.
honest, I do. I think it's bringing a new wave of youth and energy to the game and of fans coming into this game to introduce them to things. It's bringing a lot of additional uh, fans in. I think it's because it's an emotional thing to do, to play a sport. It's emotional, and other sports emotions are worn clearly on your sleeve, and they like football, and basketball.
Right.
These guys wear all their emotion because they give max effort every single play and every single time they can. And baseball's becoming more along that line. Now, baseball's not a contact or even a collision, let alone a contact sport. Um, but he would not have been a fan of like the showboat style, hit a
Hmm.
home run and bat flip and all that.
Yeah, pin the home run.
Yeah, he would not have been a fan of that. But a ball player like Tim Anderson, I think he too would have loved. Uh, Again, Eloy Jimenez is another guy that comes to mind that my dad would like
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the kid is nothing but smiles, 24/7. He's another one
Sure.
who plays the game for the love of playing the game. So,
And the Cubs had him.
yes, thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for Kimbrel, but
You know what? I like it. I don't mind Kimbrel. I think having a full year now going forward with the Sox, that bullpen, they've got 6, 7 guys that throw 98 to 100 plus miles an hour coming out of the
yeah,
bullpen. Like, are
yeah.
you kidding me?
I don't know. It's insane. But
Uh,
I have asked you quite a number of White Sox questions, but I'm going to ask you a stadium question, a ballpark question. So, what's one ballpark you have not been to as of right now that you would like to go to in the future?
it's easy. There's two. One would be Fenway.
Mm,
Um, just because of the historical aspect of Fenway Ballpark. I've never been there. I would love to go to Boston. I'd love to go see the stadium, catch a Red Sox game. Just because I'm such a baseball enthusiast, I guess you could say. I'm like a kid when it comes to baseball, man. And then so the White Sox are my AL team. The Dodgers are my NL team.
Hmm.
So I would love to go to Dodger Stadium down in Chavez Ravine.
You
Loved. I
know,
can't. I would love to go out there. I cannot wait till the day I get to go out there and catch a Dodger game.
I've never seen the game, but I've actually been in the stadium when it was empty.
Yeah,
It was pretty cool.
yeah. My wife and I went to Anaheim for she had a conference out there, and we did a tour of the Angel Stadium. It was in December, so there was no baseball being played, but it
Right.
was very cool. I got to go down, went in through the visitors' locker room, but we did get to go into the Angels dugout and kind of walk out onto the field a little bit. You couldn't actually go onto the grass, but there is that little strip of dirt that
Right.
separates the dugout from the field of play. Kind of like a warning track type um, dirt. And so it was very cool to go out and see that. And then for your bachelor party, we went to Wrigley,
Yeah.
did a tour of Wrigley. Um, that was also cool. I love doing stuff like that. So those are my
Yeah,
two
but
stadiums: Boston, Fenway, and
Fenway,
Dodger
Fenway
Stadium.
and Dodger.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, those are historic ballparks, and definitely, again, I've been inside a Dodger Stadium, but I feel like if you're a baseball fan, I feel like Fenway is like a go to, like you have to go at some point.
yeah.
And I don't feel like Dallas has been to the most of all us. I don't think Dallas has been there, so the four of
How
us
many has
have been.
Dallas been to?
I don't know, a lot or more
Because
than I would think.
like think I've been to 7 or 8 now.
I mean, I don't know. I have to ask him. All I know is that when I asked him what was his favorite stadium, he said PNC Park in Pittsburgh, and then he said Petco in San Diego. I know he's been to see. He's been to a lot. I don't know.
It seems like he's been to a
He's
lot
been.
actually. Now that you say that, he's probably been way more than me. Because I mean, I've been to one, two, three, four. Yeah, I've been to 7, and
Yeah.
I think the most fun I had was Toronto.
Hmm.
Um, and the most fun being at a game I had was in Toronto, but the coolest stadium, which I actually really enjoyed, but it looks so like just it looks kind of like just so plain, but honestly
Yeah.
is
Wrigley. Yep.
Tropicana. No, Tropicana in Tampa.
Huh.
It's still pretty basic, which we were there 2 years ago, and before we walked in, I told my wife that G-Man Choi was gonna win this game, and lo and behold, we stadium's virtually empty. I think it was like a September end of the season game. They're playing Cleveland.
Yeah.
It comes to the bottom of the ninth. They had kind of chipped their way back in to get to be down by like 1 or 2 at the time, and I think G-Man came up in the bottom of the ninth with um 2 outs and 2 on or 1 on, whatever this. I forget the situation,
Wow.
and man hit a walk off, and I kid you not, I you can ask Katie to attest to this. I missed the game winning home run. He hit it directly at us. I think I had to take about 4 or 5 feet to my left to make a play on the ball, but it was just hit just higher than I could reach trying to jump up. Uh, he hit the home run at us. And as we were sitting there, she looks at me and goes, she's like, so we have our son with us. He was only one of the 2 born at the time.
Yeah.
And she goes, I know this goes without saying, but if there's a ball ever hit to us, I get the baby, you get the ball. And I go, well, yeah, duh. And I think within literally 3 pitches, the game-winning hit from G-Man
Wow.
Choi was hit, and it was hit directly at us virtually. Like I said, I
Wow.
think I had to go 5 or 6 feet to my left, which is if whoever is listening doesn't know who G-Man Choi is, he's the first baseman for Tampa Bay. He's a lefty, so we were sitting in the right field bleachers, and if I would have had a glove with me, I 100% would have caught the ball.
Mm.
But I
Well,
didn't have one, and it was just above, like she was from where she was sitting. She said it looked like it was like maybe 2 to 3 inches over the top of my hand. Like I didn't touch it, but it had just cleared the top of my fingers.
I just to make a point, that is not the only home run ball that you come close to catching.
That's a fact. I don't have it anymore. I'm really bitter about this story. But the White Sox were playing Boston, and I had gone to the game with my brother, his girlfriend, and a buddy of mine, and we sat up into the left field bleachers, and we had slowly made our way down throughout the game to the front row above the bullpen, and Manny Ramirez, lo and behold, hit a line drive home run that, I kid you not, I literally just stood up and reached my hands over the fence, didn't even move left or right, just stuck my hands over the wall, and the ball hit me dead square in the middle of my palms. I am reluctant to say that I did drop the ball due to the amount of pain my hands were in at that point. But no glove, dropped it. I did get it, though. Damaso Marte at the time was a Sox bullpen pitcher and flipped it up to me. Had the ball for a little while. My brother, I guess, couldn't find any other baseball to play catch with somebody one day and decided to use that. And that ball got chewed up, destroyed, and is no longer around. So I wish I could even say I have the baseball somewhere, but I do not have that baseball anymore.
So thanks, Ben.
Yeah, that's a big thanks, Ben, because I think that was Manny Ramirez's. It was like 320, 325, 350. It was like not a super big milestone number, but it was it was a decent number home run that Manny Ramirez just hit at that point. I had it, don't have it anymore.
You know what? On that bitter note, let's end this and just say this has been a special episode of the On a Family Basis podcast. And again, my name is Jake.
Again, thanks, Ben. But I'm Dan.
Yeah, we're gonna have to ask Ben about that. I didn't know about that, so I'm gonna have to ask him.
Yeah, that happened.
All I know is that on the news report I watched for that specific highlight, and
I was on ESPN.
The reporter was trash talking to you about.
I know. I used to have also the recording of that, and I forget who it was, but it was a female ESPN reporter who made the comment of, "That's why you don't play in the big leagues." And I went, yes. And I kid you not, that is what was said, because I dropped the ball from a barehanded standpoint off of line drive home run that I don't think the ball got over 15 feet off the ground from Manny's bat.
Oh no, you should have caught it, bro.
Whatever, man.
None of this would have happened.
No, it still would have happened. Ben still would have played catch, and I wouldn't have the ball.
I mean,
but you're right. The ball hits your hands. You're taught when you grow up. The ball hits your hands, you catch it.
Yep.
Nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trash talked by, I forget who it was, but it was a female ESPN analyst, anchor, whatever they're called. And this was probably back in, I think, 02, 03, somewhere in there.
Yeah. I feel like we have to look it up and see if we can find the clip that we had. But again, let's just wrap this and just say we'll be on next Wednesday with our next episode. So we'll catch you guys next time.
Have a good one.